Let's see how we can run multi-object tracking with the new YOLO26 model and also do trajectory predictions with the MovingPandas library. So we're pretty much just going to get all the trails, we'll have all the tracks behind it for the previous history, so we can track objects over time, but then MovingPandas is going to predict the trajectory based on the previous movement. So this is what we're going to see, how we can set up. Let's just jump straight into it and take a look at it. So inside the Ultralytics documentation, we have this tracking mode that we can set up. It's gonna track multiple different objects, depending on what class you have. You can use your own custom fine-tuned models. We have videos covering all of that, how you can create your own data set, train your own models and use them, but you can also use the models out of the box, trained on the Coco data set. So you can go through the documentation, you can see different types of real world applications that it can be used for, the available tracker, so there's ByteTrack and also ByteTrack. You can tune all the thresholds and so on, but it's pretty much working out of the box in the best way, and it's just a few lines of code. So let's just jump straight into the code and actually get in to see how we can set up our trajectory forecasting with MovingPandas and Ultralytics. I have a few videos here that we're going to run through. We can just take a look at the demo here to start with, and then see how we can set it up in code. So we're going to track, we get an ID for each of the objects that we're detecting. Right now, we're just interested in cars driving on this highway. The blue line is the previous points. We're just taking the center of our bounding box, and then the MovingPandas, based on the previous points, it can predict the trajectory based on the previous history. So this is pretty cool. There's some different parameters that we can fine tune, you can play around with, but this is pretty cool. I'm just going to play the video here, and then we can see that we do the multi-object tracking with new YOLO26 model and using MovingPandas for predicting the future or the forecasting of the trajectory. So let's take a look at, all you have to do, import all the different dependencies. So we're going to use Ultralytics, and that's pretty much all that we need. It has the MovingPandas out of the box. So what we're going to do, we have a configuration at the top. You can specify the tracker as I showed you in the documentation. You can also have ByteTrack, and then you can specify all the different values that you need. This is the classes that we're interested in right now. So we have like a person, car, trucks, buses, and so on. So that's inside the classes. If you have your own custom model, you need to specify it in here. The confidence score, you can also play around with that. Around this range here is more than fine. The history, this is how many centers and how many points for each object that we are tracking that we want to save in our history. So there's all the blue lines behind each object that we are tracking, and then the minimum number of points for being able to do our forecasting, because it needs some points to be able to determine where it's heading in the future. So there's the minimum number of points that we want to use. Then we have forecasting steps here, how many future points, so how far out in the future do we want to predict. There's also velocity window, so how many recent points to estimate velocity based on. So that's pretty much how fast is it moving, so we can project the trajectory based on, first of all, both the points, the position, but also the velocity, so how fast are the points moving over time. So this is also a pretty cool feature. You can fine tune and play around with it, and then we just have a velocity window, so it's just following the most recent points, so it's just always the last 8 points in this example. We also have an exponential moving average, EMA, alpha value, so this is how much we want to smoothen the centers. So we can see here, if we have that value higher, it will follow new points more. So it has higher weighting for the newer points, and then it has lower weighting for the future or the values more further back. So this is pretty cool. Like if you just want to have like a very fast trajectory change, you can probably have it closer to 1. This is just like a good smoothing around the middle here, 0.6. So if you have objects like cars just driving down the highway, like it's not really going to change the trajectory too crazy. But if you have objects like which is moving fast, could be birds, could be all different other types of objects that you're detecting, you might want to have this a bit higher. So forecasting color, you can just specify that, font scale, just some different utilization configurations that you can set up here. Then we have some drawing helpers, and again, all this will be available down in the description. You can go in and check it out, test it out yourself, and apply your own videos on it, but also come with your own custom model. So we just have some drawing helpers, like how we can draw the polygon or polyline, how we draw the forecasting line, how we clamp the point, and so on. So this is pretty much just creating a polygon line and also just a circle with OpenCV for our visualizations. Then we have our actual forecasting where we're estimating the velocity. So we need our points and we also need our frames per second so we can calculate how much are our points actually moving from frame to frame. And when we do that, we have a change in position over time, which is velocity. We have our window here, and then we're pretty much just going to do our calculation. So if we have less than 2 points, we can't really calculate it. And then we're going to take our window. So we want to have our window to estimate our velocity. Then we're going to run through all our points. And what we're going to do is pretty much just take each point in our history. We take the position, so the difference in position, how much has the point moved from one frame to another, and then we divide it by dt, which is the delta time. We can calculate the delta time based on our frames per second. We can see here 1 divided by frames per second. It is how long does it take in milliseconds to process a single frame or a single frame. So if you have like 30 frames per second, that's pretty much just 1 divided by 30. And that will be our delta time moving from one frame to another. Then we just take the median of that, and then we also have the median down here at the bottom. So we're going to return the 2 points, which is the velocity in the x direction and the velocity in the y direction for our points. And again, here we're running through all the ones in our window. So all the points in our velocity window. And again, if you have a higher window, it's pretty much just going to take more points into account and also further back. Then we have a function for forecasting the points. So we're going to take the last xy pair. So this is the point in the center of the bound box. You can also use whatever point that you want. We take our velocity in our x direction that we calculated up here. We take the velocity in the y direction, the frames per second, and then we also need the steps. So how many steps do we want to take in the future? So we're going to calculate the delta time again, 1 divided by frames per second. Then we can get our forecast for L and X points. So this is pretty much just going to take our last points, and then we do our calculation here. So it's going to run through all the single steps here and do the calculations out in the future. So the number of steps, we defined that up at the top. So how many forecasting steps we want to do out in the future, 35. So this is the default configuration. Then we're going to take our last X points. We're going to add it with our velocity in our X direction. We're going to multiply it with our delta time. And then we also have our S value here, which is the number of steps, because this is how many steps we want to divide it into. And then it's pretty much just going to return a list for each step that we are doing. So it's pretty much just taking the last point, using the velocity and also the direction to predict out in the future where we are heading. So this is all the calculations that we need to do for the forecasting. It's pretty simple, and you can also try it out on your own. Now we can run the inference. We have the model path, we have the source, output path, and also if we want to display the track ID only. We create a YOLO model. You can come with your own model path to your own custom model. You can also use the models out of the box, and they will download automatically. So then we just, if CUDA is available, we're going to use that or the CPU. We're going to put the model to that device. We open up our video capture with the source. So that could be a webcam, video file, and so on. And then we can read in the frames from that one. This is just some utilities, some setup that we're doing for being able to store and save the videos. So we have a video writer with OpenCV. We're going to have a history here with our default dictionary. We're going to have a DQ with the max length of history. So that pretty much means that it's just a queue. So when we have filled up the queue, the next point that comes in, it pushes out the first one that came into the queue. Then we also have a dictionary for last smooth. We can have our while loop just running through, reading in frames from our webcam. We call a model.track from Ultralytics just to get all the results back, and then we can do the calculations for the forecasting after. So this is just the standard Ultralytics setup. Now we can iterate through all our results. So that's what we're doing down here. We extract the bounding boxes, IDs, and classes from our Ultralytics results from the YOLO26 model. Now we can just zip all the bounding boxes, IDs, and classes, so we have all the corresponding values that we need. We zip them together, and then we can iterate through all of them one by one. So this will be the multi-objects that we are tracking in our video. So first of all, we just have the active IDs. We need to add that to our dictionary or our set. We extract all the values that we need here to do our calculations, and then we have our exponential moving average smoothing center. So it's pretty much just smoothing the points, the centers of our bounding box, and then we put that into our history. Then once we start to fill up our history, we can start to do our forecasting calculations. So this is the bounding boxes. This is just for visualizations and drawing that. We have our past polygon line, we clamp the points, we draw the polygon line, and then we can forecast our polyline here. So the first thing that we're doing, we're just waiting until our history has filled up to the minimum number of points that we need to be able to do a forecasting, because again, if you just have a few points, it's not going to be accurate with our forecasting. Then we estimate the velocity with our history, and this is for all our active IDs. This is all the arguments that we need to put into our function. We get our velocity x and velocity y out. Then we're just going to call the forecast points. We clamp the points, we draw the forecast on our image, and this is pretty much exactly what we saw in the video. Then we can clean up disappeared tracks. So we're just going to run through all our histories, all our keys. We check if we have the active IDs. If they're not active, we're just going to pop it out from our dictionary and remove that ID. Maybe we'll get the re-ID later on as well, or we'll just assign a new ID and then it goes through the full system again. But it's just to clean it up so we don't just get like infinited dictionaries and lists. Then we show the image that we have visualized everything on, we write it out to a video file, and that's pretty much all that we need. So make sure to go through the details here, go through the calculations, learn how it's doing it, and then let's just run it now. We open up a new terminal, we go into the directory. So I have this called Trajectory. We can see all the files that we have here. We just specify the YOLO26 small model, cars on highway, and then we're going to save it here in the output path. So let's run it. We have our trajectory, forecast MovingPandas.py. It'll download the model automatically. It'll just take a few seconds, and now we can see that it's running. We get all our predictions, and we also get our forecasting of the points. So we can see it's just visualizing the 5 points here, but it's using the 35 steps to be able to predict it out in the future. And it's looking pretty good here. We can see the cars are pretty much just driving in a straight line. So this is also maybe a bit easier one, but here we can see that it's coming in from the side and it's still predicting this direction. So we can see the direction of the lanes just by how the cars are driving, and this is pretty cool for estimating the trajectory. The future trajectory, this can be used for a ton of different other applications. You can try to have some other different types of forecasting, like you can have exponential forecasting, you can try all different types of shapes, you can try apply like all these functions, you can just use them, try to fine tune them, come up with new methods, and also just improve the forecasting for all different types of shapes. So that could be if a car is driving around a corner, how can we make that even better? We can see this is running real time, almost like 15-20 frames per second, just running on my CPU. So that's all for this video here, guys. A lot of information, a lot of code that we went through. Definitely go in and try it out yourself, and then I hope to see you guys in one of the upcoming videos. Until then, happy learning.